Hello everyone and welcome. My name is AravaVT. I'm a content creator for the First Descendants, and today we're going to go over my Hailey build guide. Yes, I know it was a long time in coming, but I decided to farm her using their mechanics and doing the daily missions, so it did take me quite a while to get her, and then we leveled her while just really enjoying the game over the past couple of weeks. So she's been a lovely character. She does a lot of damage for bossing. She's got some unique abilities in her kit, and she's very powerful even without her Transcendent cards, which we will be getting on the 10th of next month. So I look forward to seeing what the cards are going to bring and how we're going to change this build in. But for now, here's what I've got so far. First, let's go into her abilities. Her first ability is called Cryo Round. What this does is it attacks a bunch of enemies in a line, and the most important thing is it increases the damage that you deal to the enemies by 50%. Each time the enemy is hit, they gain a stack and up to 9 stacks, and that will help you deal more consistent damage to bosses and things of that nature. Her second ability is called Storm Snare. So what this does is it knocks back targets and does a freezing beam for a massive amount of skill power damage. The range on this is actually very short. It's only up to 15 meters at max, so it is actually a very short range attack for such a sniper type character, but this is really for mob clearing and just getting rid of the enemies that come close to you while you are using your sniper rifle. Her third ability is probably one of her most important ones. What this does is this increases her firearm critical hit rate and her skill critical hit rate per stack, and increases her firearm penetration amount per stack, and this is what does your massive amounts of damage. When you have maximum stacks of Cold Fury, you also increase your damage by an extra 20%. So it's imperative before you go in for your large kill shots to get the max stats of Cold Fury, which goes up to 16, and then you will use your abilities on the boss or the mobs for the maximum amount of damage. Her fourth ability is the one that you guys have all seen on all the cutscenes. She pulls out her massive sniper rifle, and she does a massive amount of damage. In order to really utilize this, there's a couple things that you can do. On your primary gun, before you pull this out, you can use things like firing Fiesta to give yourself a couple of extra shots of ammo on her sniper. You can also do magazine extender rounds on your sniper rifle itself to give yourself extra bullets, but that is how you would increase the magazine size of her ultimate. It's also important to know that if you do not use all the bullets in her ultimate, the cooldown time is decreased based on how many bullets are left in the gun, just like Jaber's ability as well. So this does a massive amount of damage, and it is better to do this at a longer range because her passive ability will stack with this. So her passive ability is that the weak point damage decreases the closer that she is to the target and increases the further that it is. So you want to be a maximum distance of 25 meters or more away to get the 50% weak point damage increase. All right, now let's get into our modules. So the modules that we have currently here, I'm using long distance maneuvering for her grappling hook. You can change this out to a melee weapon or a grapple, whichever you prefer. I will say grappling here is going to be key for Hailey because you're going to, as a sniper, want to be far away from the boss up on high areas in order to take advantage of your passive. So we're going to want to use skill insight, which will increase your skill critical hit rate, skill concentration to increase your skill critical hit damage, front lines to increase your skill critical hit damage and skill critical hit rate, and emergency measures to increase your skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage. These 4 cards will greatly increase your critical hit rate and your critical hit damage for the maximum damage possible. The 2 cards we have for her attributes is Focus on Chill, which is her best chill one, and Focus on Singular. Now, this is the card that you will change out if you're specifically one-shotting and soloing bosses. You will want to change Focus on Singular out for Singular Specialist. That will give you more output damage immediately. However, I personally like to use Focus on Singular to give me the extra cooldown reduction, and the loss of DPS is very nominal here. MP conversion greatly reduces your skill cooldown. It does reduce your maximum MP. However, you can augment this with your attachment, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Skill cooldown, once again, reduced by Nimble Fingers. And then shot focus. So this is the one that might be kind of controversial. She's really good with shot focus. I did the calculations. It does take some of your skill ability power modifier down. However, overall, you are averaging a significant increase in DPS, so shot focus is still the correct move to use even though she does do a lot of ability power damage, you're really not hurting that much by taking this card, and in fact you gain a significant amount of damage. So with all of these cards in this particular build, we have reduced her first ability's cooldown to 1.6 seconds. It is constantly spammable. Her second ability is cooled down to 9.7 seconds. Her third ability, of course, is 1 second cooldown after it's done. And then her ultimate ability is on cooldown for 5.8 seconds. So you can constantly just spam her abilities with this particular build. It is a lot of fun. You're outputting a lot of damage. Even if you're not necessarily always at max stats due to the mana drain, you are still outputting millions and millions of damage a shot, alternating between your second and your fourth ability. So it is a really fun spellcasty build, and it is a huge damage dealer and a mega boss killer. For the components, we have chosen to go with the Afterglow sword. This is the sword that I use. For the components, I've chose to mount an Afterglow sword because this is the gun that I like to use on all of my other characters. However, technically the piercing light will give you more damage, so if you're looking for absolute maximum damage, you want to make sure that you find a reactor on a piercing light, and you also level your piercing light up to max, focusing on weak point damage and critical hit damage. We also, on this reactor, have gone for skill cooldown and skill critical hit rate. So you can change the skill critical hit rate here for damage, but I really do recommend the skill cooldown, as being able to spam your abilities overall is going to be way more important than upping your damage by a small percentage. For her external components, I'm running the Polar Knight Auxiliary Power set, which gives her a full increase of 6.2% shield power. It gives her some extra firearm critical hit rate and critical hit damage based upon her stacks. And then on top of that, we also get the MP recovery out of combat and maximum HP for the substats that have been rolled on here. We want to focus on MP recovery and maximum MP, and especially MP recovery in combat, as you will be constantly draining your MP to use your abilities. Her abilities do give some MP back, which is really great, but once again, if you are constantly trying to do maximum damage, you will be running into mana issues no matter how much MP you stack. So you want to try to get these numbers as high as possible on your components to offset the continuous usage of MP. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I really am looking forward to the update on the 10th of October as we get the Ultimate Freyna out and we get to see Hailey's new Transcendent card. So I can't wait to see how this build is going to change and update with these new Transcendents. So thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in stream. Have a fantastic day. Thank you.